Hello, ladies. How are you all this fine Wednesday night? Hopefully, you're all doing well, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday, especially to all you new ladies who are joining us for Wellness Wednesday for the first time and who are new to the group. And as everybody is hopping on, let me go ahead and say my disclaimer. So, anything that I say tonight during this Wellness Wednesday is just health information. It is not specific health advice. Don't change the way or stop taking, start taking, change the way you're taking any of your medications. If you feel like you need to do that, please first consult with your prescribing practitioner so they can help you make those adjustments safely. And attending this Wellness Wednesday does not establish a doctor-patient relationship. And I'm glad you're all here tonight. We just announced that the next master class will be January 5th. It's the 5th through the 7th, so it'll be those 3 nights, each night, through 5th through the 7th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, so 6 Pacific, 8 Central, 9 Eastern Time. We will go live promptly at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And I'm so excited to be sharing this information. It will be all about weight loss because I know so many of you here are looking for those sorts of answers. And so we're going to talk about all the reasons why you're stuck. And I do want to get into that a little bit tonight. And that's why, so there's just so much information. I want to, discuss some of the many reasons why we get trapped in fat storage mode. So I'm going to go through some of those aspects tonight, but we're going to go in way more detail and into a lot more depth during the master class. And so I'm super excited. We will be putting the link to register in the comments and throughout the group. You can't miss it. So it's important for you to register, take the time, make the time for yourself to get this life-changing information for yourself, and make it a priority to attend. That's the key. And so put it on your calendar, set timers. I know you're busy. If you're like me, setting a timer on your phone to, just before showtime is really the key for showing up. And so, this is exciting, super exciting. And let's get into tonight's content for this Wellness Wednesday. Again, to just give you a few of the most important things that I think you need to just have some background about, and just to give you kind of a jump start. Okay, so let's discuss why so many of us get trapped in fat storage mode, and more importantly, how we can shift our bodies back into fat burning mode, right? So first, it's essential to grasp this foundational truth, ladies. Your body is designed to heal itself. You were born with an incredible self-healing mechanism. It's constantly working to repair and to restore balance on its own. Yeah, however, our environment often creates hidden imbalances that overwhelm this natural process. And sometimes the body simply needs a little support, to get it back on track. When you experience symptoms like stubborn weight gain, they aren't signs that something's broken or that you're flawed. They're your body's way of signaling that an underlying imbalance needs your attention. There's nothing inherently wrong with you. Your body has the same remarkable healing capacity as mine or anyone else's who's achieved lasting results. You're unique in your journey, yes, but you're not different in your potential. You can heal and thrive at any age. Okay. I saw some questions in our Facebook group from some wonderful new members, right, asking about Ozempic or other weight loss drugs. They asked, what medication is everyone using to drop the pounds? Okay. And I want to be very clear. We do not promote or prescribe drugs for weight loss here. Our approach is to heal the body at its root so that over time, you may no longer need many of the medications that you are currently taking. High blood pressure, for example, isn't caused by a deficiency of blood pressure pills. high cholesterol doesn't mean you're short on statins, right? We develop these conditions because something deeper is disrupting normal function. Masking symptoms with drugs that override the body's physiology isn't our goal. And that said, medications absolutely have their place. Please don't stop taking any without guidance from your doctor, okay? But true lasting freedom from these sort of interventions, right, comes from addressing the root causes. Now, onto our topic for tonight. Why we're stuck in fat storing mode instead of burning fat. There are easily 8, 9, 10 major underlying factors that commonly drive this issue, and I'll share a few today, but we'll dive much deeper, as I said before, in the masterclass, so each one gets the detailed explanation it deserves. Now, I offer these masterclasses precisely because topics like this need more than a quick overview. You need important background because I want you to fully understand the how and the why. In this particular masterclass, Losing Weight with Thyroid Dysfunction focuses specifically on weight struggles because my previous ones on overcoming low thyroid didn't leave enough time to cover it thoroughly. And we're exploring what's really happening inside the body that's making weight loss feel impossible. And why that lost weight often comes right back and how to change that permanently. Now, here's a key mindset shift for so many of you ladies. Excess weight is not a root problem. It's a symptom, okay? Just like a headache or joint pain or fatigue. Many of us have been led to believe the opposite, okay? That weight itself is causing all of our other issues. That's why doctors often say your knee pain or your diabetes or your sleep issues will improve if you just lose weight. But we need to flip that script. The truth is, you're carrying extra weight because something else is going on beneath the surface. Telling someone to just lose weight is as helpful as telling someone with a cough to just stop having a cough. It misses the point entirely. We have to identify and correct what's triggering the symptom in the first place. Now, I have exciting news for you. So of these 8 to 10 major root causes, and I'll tell you, almost everyone dealing with stubborn weight has multiple, at least 3, often 4 or 5. Once we identify and address yours, your body can finally release the excess fat and keep it off for good. This is why the oversimplified advice of eat less and move more rarely works long term. I know this firsthand. I was once about 40 pounds heavier than I am today, over 15 to 16 years ago. And I've maintained that loss ever since by continually working on underlying imbalances and supporting optimal function. We'll cover several of these key reasons today to get you started. Right? Then we'll go much deeper in the Losing Weight with Thyroid Dysfunction Masterclass, kicking off Monday, January 5th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, right here in the Facebook group. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. All right. Now, let's talk about this. One of the biggest reasons we struggle with weight is poor sleeping habits. We really need to aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of high quality sleep every night. Think about it. Sleep is when your body truly rests, digests, and heals. Right? While you're sleeping, it's doing major housekeeping, cleaning up inflammation all over, clearing out the plaque and junk in your brain. It's kind of like a deep spring cleaning for your neurons, right? But you can't do that kind of internal cleanup if you're awake and active, or if your nervous system is stuck in sympathetic overdrive, like when you wake up in the middle of the night and can't drift back off, or when you lie there for hours unable to fall asleep at all, or when you don't even get tired until 1 or 2 a.m. That's why those 7 to 8 hours are non-negotiable. It's during that time that the body reduces inflammation and sweeps away brain plaque and flushes toxins, and the real detox and repair work happens then. One clear sign you're trapped in fight or flight and not getting that proper cleanup is, in fact, constipation. Now, constipation can come from a lot of things. like liver or gallbladder problems, dehydration, slow gut motility due to poor metabolism. More often than not, it's because you're in chronic sympathetic dominance. Okay? Your body can't switch into rest and digest or heal and repair mode, and that makes quality sleep nearly impossible. It's a vicious cycle, and it absolutely keeps you stuck in fat storage. So let me give you some practical tips to start improving your sleep right away. And we'll go deeper in the masterclass, but these are game changers. First, your bedroom needs to be pitch black, completely dark. Get blackout curtains. And I'll tell you, they come in every color and pattern imaginable. So you don't have to get those ugly black ones, right? They're just thick material that blocks light and can be in any, so many colors and in any color. You can find gorgeous patterns too. Now, I know how much you ladies care about decor, right? So just search Amazon for blackout curtains or shades. They're a must. If you can't do curtains yet, at least cover up any little lights that you see in your room, like the alarm clock light or the phone charger or a smoke detector glow. And if you need a night light for middle of the night bathroom trips, right? Get a motion activated sensor one, right? That doesn't stay on constantly. Next, keep your bedroom cool. 68 degrees or lower is ideal. That's the magic temperature for deeper sleep. Now that we're heading into the cooler months, right? It's easier, especially if you're up north, right? Don't pile on heavy pajamas or blankets, all right? Don't do that. Getting too hot raises your core temperature, makes you sweat, and basically makes you wake up restless. Another big one, keep pets out of the bedroom. Like I know, we love our fur babies, but they wreck our sleep. If they're in bed, right? They're moving, they're stretching out, they take up the whole middle while you and your partner are like clinging to the edge, pawing at you, or just breathing and shifting all night. Even if they're on the floor, subtle sounds disturb you. As hard as it is, crate them or keep them in another room. I promise your sleep will thank you, and you'll be better able to release the weight. And here's why total darkness matters so much. Your pineal gland, that tiny little gland right in the center of your brain, actually has light detecting crystals. And it's really an amazing little gland. When the room is completely dark, it pumps out melatonin to help you sleep deeply, right? Now, even a sliver of light tricks it into producing serotonin instead. So your daytime feel-good neurotransmitter. That's also why morning sunlight is crucial. So first thing when you wake up, get outside and go look at the sun. Well, not directly at the sun, but for at least 10 minutes. That signals your pineal gland to crank out serotonin, sets your circadian rhythm, and helps you feel alert all day. So you're naturally tired by evening time. Start aligning with natural light. Wait closer to sunrise. And then wind down as it gets dark, right? Don't fight that 9 p.m. sleepiness. That's when we're biologically meant to rest. Sleep is absolutely huge for shifting out of fat storage mode. All right. So fix this foundation and everything gets easier. All right. We cover even more strategies in the masterclass. Okay. So the next big thing you can do to really support weight loss and help your body pull out of that fat storing mode is to take a hard look at the fats you're eating. We absolutely need to ditch the bad fats from our diets. So what are these bad fats? Mostly that's an overload of omega-6 fatty acids. Now, don't get me wrong, omega-6s are actually essential in small amounts, but in our modern diets, right, we get way, way too much of them. That excess throws everything out of balance and drives massive inflammation throughout the body. The worst offenders are seed oils. You want to stay as far away from the seed oils, right? That includes canola oil, which comes from rapeseed. Yeah, so rapeseed oil, they just rebranded it, right, to canola because it sounds much nicer. Okay. Then there's sunflower oil, safflower oil, grapeseed oil. So all of those. And then there's so-called vegetable oil, like soybean oil, corn oil, peanut oil. These are incredibly toxic to the body and create loads of inflammation, ladies. If you see anything on a label that lists canola, sunflower, safflower, grapeseed, soybean, corn, peanut, or just vegetable oil, just put it back on the shelf, right? You'll often see vegetable oil on ingredients lists. And guess what? They usually load it with corn oil and soybean oil. Corn isn't even a vegetable. I have no idea why they call it that. Probably because they know a lot of us think vegetable sounds healthy, right? And so many people fall for it. But these oils are seriously damaging. And I'm not even getting into how they're processed, like heated to extreme temperatures and chemically extracted. And they're often already rancid before they even fill the bottles. Instead, we want to switch to good, stable fats: avocado oil, coconut oil, and olive oil. Like those are the main ones that I can think of that I can recommend. These are the fats we really want to stick with. Avocado and coconut oil are excellent for cooking because they're stable at high heat. And they don't break down and turn inflammatory even when we're sauteing or frying. Now, olive oil, on the other hand, has a little bit lower smoke point, and most experts say don't heat it above 300 degrees. So olive oil is perfect for drizzling on salads, making dressings, or low heat cooking. Now, a quick note on taste. A good quality avocado oil is pretty tasteless, pretty natural. Doesn't really have a strong flavor, so it's super versatile. Coconut oil, of course, gives you that mild coconut taste, which I actually love. For me, chicken cooked in coconut oil tastes amazing. Eggs come out better. Everything just has that nice subtle flavor. When I'm cooking meats like steak, burgers, whatever it is, avocado usually is my go-to because it's clear and handles the heat perfectly. And I'll use coconut oil here or there just for variety. And then for salads and cold uses, it's always olive oil. So making this swap is one of the simplest but most, powerful changes you can make to reduce inflammation and get out of fat storage mode and finally start seeing the scale move in the right direction. We'll talk even more about fats and some other options as well and how to use them in the masterclass. Okay, now let's talk about the next huge piece. This would be toxins. Toxins are absolutely massive when it comes to why we're stuck in fat storing mode, ladies. These, these are often called obesogens, right? These environmental toxins, and they literally make us obese. They interfere with metabolism, right? And promote fat storage. And there are also diabetogens too. They mess with blood sugar, drive insulin resistance, contribute to diabetes, of course. And of course, endocrine disruptors. These throw off your hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and yes, thyroid hormone too. All of this causes weight gain. Right? In the Losing Weight with Thyroid Dysfunction Masterclass, I'm going to go deep on all these toxins, exactly what they are, where they're hiding in our daily lives, how we get exposed, and more importantly, practical ways to avoid or at least minimizing them. But let's be real. In today's world, we're not going to eliminate every single toxin completely, but we can drastically reduce our load. And then we'll cover how to support the body in clearing them out so that they don't keep building up and causing damage. Now, another really important category is biotoxins. These are toxins produced by living organisms like mold or Lyme, the bacteria that causes Lyme, and several others. Now, for a lot of us, our bodies just don't clear these toxins, these biotoxins, efficiently. So they accumulate over time. Now, I'm specifically talking about mold from water damage, the kind that grows in buildings when drywall, carpet, or wood gets wet. It can start growing mold within 24 to 48 hours. And it releases these tiny spores loaded with mycotoxins. So mycotoxins are incredibly toxic to most people because our detox pathways simply aren't equipped to handle them well. And then they just keep piling up. Some of the classic signs you're dealing with biotoxin overload, beyond the weight gain and blood sugar problems, are chronic fatigue, right? That just never seems to lift. Major brain fog. And like when you forget words mid-sentence, or you can't focus well, or you struggle to concentrate at all, or you have trouble retaining new information. Okay. You'll also get weird, sharp shooting pains or static-like shocks, or even vibration sensations in your body. Vision issues are super common too, blurry vision, trouble with contrast, like everything looks a little fuzzy, right? It's true, it's amazing and a little scary how much these toxins can affect us. So we've got environmental toxins, including obesogens, diabetogens, and endocrine disruptors, biotoxins like mold and Lyme-related ones, and then heavy metals. These are really a really big deal too. We'll unpack all of this and exactly what to do about it in the masterclass. Okay, now here's another super important one. And honestly, this applies to almost everyone here. Most of you have never had a truly complete thyroid workup. Now, I know so many of you have been dealing with low thyroid symptoms for 10, 20, 30, 50 years. And no one's ever really examined your thyroid properly. When I went to understand, um, so I go to understand someone's thyroid, and how it's actually functioning. There are 12 thyroid markers that make up a full, proper thyroid panel on blood work. 12 markers. But most of the time, most of you, you just get one. It's usually just TSH. If your TSH is high, they bump up your medication. If it's low, they decrease your medication. And then you're stuck on this endless roller coaster, feeling awful the whole time. And then they tell you, well, as long as you're on thyroid hormone and medication, your TSH is in the normal range, everything should be fine, right? You should feel great. But when you don't, then you're still exhausted, and you're gaining weight and freezing cold all the time and losing hair, brain foggy, or depression, anxious. They look at you like something's wrong with you. Of course, and what's worse is they say, well, you're still tired and down, here's an antidepressant. Or you can't sleep, here's a sleeping pill. Or joint pain, another pill, right? One drug for every symptom, piling them up. But they're not actually looking at how your thyroid is actually functioning. And did you know that most of the thyroid physiology, the real action, happens outside of the gland itself, right? Yes, the majority of conversion, activation, and hormone use takes place in your liver, gut, your kidneys, tissues all over your body. So even if your thyroid hormones look good, or more likely they're only checking TSH, or if you're lucky, TSH and a T4, they're missing the whole picture. They're not seeing how everything works together or doesn't, right? This is exactly what we're going to dive deep into in the masterclass. How to get the full thyroid story, what those 12 markers really tell us, and why chasing TSH keeps so many women suffering for decades. You deserve to understand the complete picture so you can finally feel like yourself again. And we'll cover all of it in the masterclass. Okay, then the other thing I think is really important, we all deal with chronic inflammation, right? It's become such a buzzword these days, right? And everybody's talking about chronic inflammation. And you'll hear a lot of people say, well, just take this supplement, or take that anti-inflammatory and you'll be fine, or go do ice plunges and saunas, right? And look, those things can help. They absolutely can, but they're only going to take you so far if you're not addressing the actual root cause of the inflammation. You've got to dig down deep, right? See really what's driving that inflammation in your body. And if you want to truly resolve it and turn it around, you've got to get further testing. And yes, we're going to go into way more detail on exactly what's causing the inflammation in the masterclass. But let me connect a few dots with some of the things we've already talked about. Okay. So for one, not getting enough quality sleep. Remember, That's when your body's supposed to be clearing inflammation out and doing all that housekeeping. When you miss out on that, inflammation just keeps building. Okay? Number two, toxins. Whether it's the environmental ones, those obesogens, diabetogens, and endocrine disruptors, or biotoxins like mold, mycotoxins, or heavy metals, all of those directly trigger and fuel inflammation in the body. Low thyroid function is another massive driver of inflammation. When your thyroid hormones are low or not converting properly, it creates a pro-inflammatory state everywhere. And there are plenty of other big contributors to chronic inflammation that we'll unpack in way more detail, things that are keeping that fire smoldering under the surface and making weight loss feel impossible. We'll cover exactly what they are and, more importantly, what to do about them in the masterclass. Okay, now the other thing I think is really, really important, and this catches so many people off guard, is that most of you are walking around with hidden chronic infections. These could be bacterial, they could be viral or parasitic. Patients, and a lot of you ladies ask me, doctor, how do you know if someone has a parasite? And I say, well, here, put these two fingers and put them on your wrist. If you feel a pulse, you've got one. All right. Okay. So the truth is, we're born with parasites. So they're way more common than we realize. We do tons of stool testing in my practice too. And I'll look at a patient's labs and see clear signs of parasites, but the stool test comes back negative. And that's because what a lot of people don't understand is that parasites aren't always just hanging out in the digestive tract. You can have them in your liver, like liver flukes, and I had that, or in other tissues all over the body. They're not always showing up where we expect. So it's crucial that we address parasite infection. But also chronic bacterial and viral infections are huge. These hidden infections wear down your immune system day after day, and they drive massive inflammation, exactly the kind that keeps you stuck in fat storing mode. And let me tell you something that surprises a lot of women. If you've gone through menopause, say it's been a year or more, and you're still dealing with hot flashes, night sweats, and look, it's probably not necessarily your hormones anymore. Could be, but more often than not, those lingering hot flashes and night sweats are coming from an underlying infection. Your body is trying to fight it off, so it raises your core temperature a little, creating these little fevers. And some of you, because of immune dysfunction, simply just can't get your temperature up enough to really cause a fever. And so if you don't actually have a fever, it's just going up a little bit, and that's what triggers the sweats, especially at night. Of course, like I said before, hormone imbalances could be causes for these night sweats, but hidden infection is a really common, cause that gets completely overlooked. And when you've got these low-grade chronic infections simmering under the surface, they create constant inflammation. And that inflammation is one of the biggest reasons your body refuses to release the weight. We're going to talk all about this in way more detail in the masterclass, how to spot these hidden infections, what testing actually catches them, and how to support your body in clearing them out safely. Now, I know it's tempting to think it'd be so much easier just to take a pill or get a shot and be done, right? But I have to be honest with you. You will never achieve truly better health if you're only covering up the symptoms with medications. At the end of the day, we have to shift the main goal away from I just want to lose weight and make the real goal, I want to improve my overall health. Because when you start addressing those root issues, sleep, toxins, thyroid, inflammation, infections, the weight loss becomes a natural side effect. But even better, right? Your energy comes roaring back. You sleep deeply again. Your need for medication drops, and your blood sugar stabilizes. Your heart health improves, and you get a true lasting transformation in how you feel every single day. Okay. The other thing I think is really important, and this is something you see over and over, is that if you're taking a pill or you're on a medication or you're doing injections for weight loss, almost always, the minute you stop, all that weight comes rushing right back. Sometimes even more than before, right? The majority of weight lost is muscle. So what comes back when you start eating more again is all fat. It's the same exact story with those quick fix 30-day, weight loss challenges, um, or any super restrictive diet where you drop pounds fast in the first month. You might see the scale move, you might feel excited, but if you haven't changed any of the underlying issues we've been talking about, that weight is coming back, guaranteed. And usually it brings friends. All right. So that's why we're in this for the long haul. We're not here for just a short term drop on the scale. We're here to make a full, true transformation, one where you not only lose the weight, but actually keep it off for good, long term. And even bigger than that, we're focused on improving your overall health, boosting your quality of life every single day, and honestly, increasing your longevity so you can feel amazing and live vibrantly for years to come. All right, ladies, I'll leave it there for you tonight and this Wellness Wednesday. And I'll try to answer any questions you have in the comments later on and later as I have somewhere that I've got to be in a bit. But I'll assure you, I'm likely to answer all of your questions during the masterclass. Again, I'm going to pop into the group here every day until we go to, get to the class. Be sure to put it on your calendar for January 5th. We start at 6:55 with the countdown timer, and then I go live right at 7 o'clock. Okay. And I can't wait to see you all then. Thanks for joining me and have a great night.